Hello, what is up? Mr. Fardin here with another video, and today we're gonna be showing you how to make a simple FPS game. And I'm going to divide this game in 5 or 6 parts because we're gonna be making a very simple game, and this is only just for the beginners. And yeah, let's get started. So first, what you want to do as the basic, just open Blender and then open a new Blender file, and see in a moment. Please wait. So after opening the Blender file, you're not going to have any of this. I just used it as a startup folder. So what you want to do is first get over here, over this layer right over here, and then go to the shadings and then turn this to GLSL, from multi-mixture to GLSL, yes, like this one. And then take the lamp right over here, it's just a light, and turn it to hemisphere in a hemi, which means a hemisphere, like it just gives a wider lighting than a normal light like the sun, which just gives this, what do you call it, yeah, shadow. And it does a lot it does a little problem uh to the game, and it creates shadows. Yeah, it's not a big problem, but it's just a problem for if you want to get started. So what we want to do is first take this, and if you want to select something else too with the object that you're selecting right now, just click shift, press shift, and then select the object that you want to select with right click, point it over and right click. And then if you want to delete it, just hit the delete button or just X and click the delete option. So now that we have deleted this, now what we want to do is just to get a simple terrain. And to get this terrain, we can use a plane. So what you want to do is either use shift A to add a plane, or you can just press spacebar and then type add, and then name the object that you want to add to this plane. So we have this plane, which is one, I guess, 1 by 1 or 2 by 2. I don't. This is one by, not 1 by 1. I mean, it's 2 by 2. Yes. Two. One, two. Yeah. Yeah. Don't judge me on that. What you want to do is press S, and then um, and then type 1, 0, and this scales up the plane to 10, 10 by 10, and which is 10 by 10, I guess. 11 by 11, I guess. I don't know this, but you can scale it down by just pressing S and then scaling with the mouse. You can use a different scale if you want. And it doesn't really matter. The size of the plane does not really matter right now. But now what you want to do, if you want to get a different shape, press tab, and then press spacebar, and then type subdivide, subdivide, and then go down and subdivide. It's 2 by 2 now. Now it's 1 by 4 by 4, 8 by 8. We're going to get I guess 16 maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. It doesn't really matter what size you have right now, what size you're using, or what amount of vertices that you're using. Oh, let me explain what is vertices. If you don't know what is vertices, the vertices are basically these dots that you're seeing at each line. A total of all of them makes like there's one vertex, which is one dot. So a total of over here is 16 by 60 equals 16, 60 equals 6 equals 6, 8, 9. I'm bad at math. I don't know. But a total of these vertices, you can see the vertices count right over here, and this is the amount of well, basically, oh man, I can't explain it. I don't know what to phrase it. But let's just get started. Let's just get a random number of vertices. So when you do the subdivide, you're going to see a layer over here or a tool over here, which is subdivide, and there are different cuts, number of cuts, which is number of subdivide that you're going to get, and this is the smoothness. I'm going to turn this to 1 as I want a total of a good smoothness. This is the limit, and you can get higher than that. I don't know what this does. I never tried that. And this is straight cut. You can just give fan, path, or invert. You can check that out in your free time. But for now, I'm not going to check any of them. And this is a fractal, which randomizes, basically randomizes your plane or your object directions, and it just randomizes. So yeah, last one I didn't explain yet, but I'm gonna explain that later. Now you can see, as you can see, that these are all like pixel shit right now, and I think many of you don't want this. So what you want to do is go over here, and then you can see a shading box right over here. So the smooth means that it would smooth out the terrain, but it would still have the vertices, as you can see. And this is a flat one, which basically gives a flat array I mean, like pixel, like it shows a pixelated version of your plane. Now, if you want to get a texture or color to your the foremost thing that I forgot is you have to change the Blender render to Blender game, so that you can get started with your game developing. And that was a huge mistake. I'm sorry, but you have to do that. And what you want to do is go over here, and then you're going to have a material section. What you want to do is just add a material by this one. You can either decrease it by this one or increase by this one. But right now, if you want to get a new material, what you want to do is just hit this button, and then you have a new material. And you can name this whatever you want. I'm going to naming this thing. Naming these materials are really helpful. I'm going to name it terrain, because we can have terrain right now. And you want to increase it to this. In my case, I'm just increasing this, and it's just a material, so I'm just going to get a green line over here. And this is the specular, which is the white line that you're seeing right over here. It's just basically the glow, okay, from the lighting, and this is basically the reflection of the reflection, which is the specular. If you want, you can smooth it out, but I hate the smoothness. I like the pixel better. It's a trending in the trending games. It's basically it's new games. So this is the main material, and if you want to add a texture, there's a texture panel, but you must have a material over here first. um, Add a material, select that one, and then you can add a texture to that material. If you have another one, and if you don't have the material set up, but then you can't add a texture to that. So you must have a material, and then you can add a texture. I have a variety of texture. I have already made a lot of texture, downloaded a lot of texture. So if you want to get a texture on your terrain or on any of your object, then just go over here, this here image subsector, go over here, open, and then go to your texture folder, whatever it is. It's directly importing the texture that you're giving it. I have a lot of variety of texture, and some of these are just arts for my game, but for now, we are just giving a mainly a grassy or a whatever you want. It's just for tutorial, so don't judge me on that. I'm going to get a grassy texture right over here, and then we're going to open the image. Sorry for the lag, it's lagging a lot as my computer is like 2 gigabytes, but it works. So as you can see that the plane doesn't really have any kind of texture on it, but it's just a greenish gray texture. It's like greenish gray material, but you don't want that, right? So if you want to get that texture this, then what you want to do is just tab it, go to edit mode, which is you could just go from here and this and then do that, or what you want to do, or you can just hit the tab button and then you will have this open. So after that, what you want to do is don't hit space, just hit press the U button and then you will have a UV mapping option right over here. This is the unwrap, which basically unwraps your whole image as a whole, sorry, whole object as a, I mean, which unwraps your object as a whole in the texture. So you can see that this light Wi-Fi looking shit right over here, what you want to do is just drag it, press left click and drag, and then you will have another screen. No, you cannot set two screens in this game. This is just another panel so that you can get started. So as you can see that we have a map, uh, on map of a layer in here. And if we increase the size, as you can see, the mappings are increasing bigger. And to get a proper view, as you can see, this is the map right now. You can increase it. As you can see, it increases. If we just press S, it is the basics. And if you press the middle button and then choose a direction, like hit the middle button and choose a direction, it would just get started with that direction. See, as you can see, the textures are doing like that. Nice. And as you can see that there is a specular right over here, which you might just don't want. So what you want to do is go right below and you will have this specular option bar right over here, and then you will have two options, color and hardness. What you want to do is tick both of them up, and so you will have your specular gone, but it's not basically gone. It has been just lowered, and as you can see that these are all just textures, and it's just mixed with the terrain, right? And many of us don't want that. If you want a cool looking texture with the grass like this in a physical shape, you have to model hard. So that's a very hard part. We're gonna go to that in a later series. But now, if you want to gain a just normal shape, so that it just looks a little good. So what you want to do is go over here, and you can see the geometry shape right over here is a normal map, which adds a normal map to your UV map right over here, and it increases. It just adds a bump. And if you take that, as you can see, it looks a kind of realistic. It kind of looks really good, but yeah, for now it's looking good. It looks like that it is bumped up and it looks pretty good actually. So um, now that you have that, it looks good, yeah. Now if you want that every vertices would oh, I didn't tell you this, but you can choose if you want to select a line or select a vertices or select a whole box of vertices, and these are the panel that you can choose to do that. But for now we can just select the boxes. So right now if you want every boxes to be filled up in a single whole of map, like only this box right over here would be the size of that. If you want that, then you can just get U and then reset. What that does is gives texture to all of that boxes. As you can see, this box has a whole texture of that whole texture in a texture hole. It's really confusing, but you can get the idea if you just go around pressing buttons and then using it. Hopefully you know a little more. I'm just going to subdivide a little more so that we can get a little better uh, texture panel. And as you can see, I just increased the size. And if you do that, you can just have a like increase the size, and as you can see it looks a lot more larger, but in reality it's a simple terrain which is very much small, but the textures is making that a lot big. But in case if you don't want it to be in boxes, if you in case if you don't want to increase the size over here, because that sometimes gives up a little big problem. If you want that, then if you don't want that, then you can just go over here and you can see the size over here. What you want to do is just uh, can just increase the size, and as you can see it has multiple lines of that grass in a single uh, box of vertices. But for now I'm just going to show it with that in a whole, and as you can see it looks great. But you can just smooth it up. The smoothness doesn't really make a difference, but in case that if you hate me, sometimes I get a lot of hate because of the smoothness. Don't know why, but it doesn't really matter how hard to try. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna get copyright. Right, because I use some music. Anyway, so you might be wondering how I did that. What do you want to do? If you want to get that view, just Shift and F. It's just a first person view. If you want the gravity, then you just can tap. And the options are over here. Let me show you again. There you can see. You can just get the gravity and you can just start walking. But this is not the first person character, so don't. Okay, so now as we have just got a simple idea of how to make a terrain, we can just now start with our character. So first off, if you want to get your character, first off, what you want to do is add a cylinder. You can add any other things if you want, not a cylinder if you want, but in case of mine, I basically like the cylinder shape and it's really easy to work with, so I'm just picking the cylinder. It's in my opinion, don't comment me on that. So as you can see that we have the cylinder right over here, but if we go to play, like press P, and if we go to play, you can see that the cylinder is staying in midair, but it's not falling down. So if you want to get that to fall down like in reality, just go to this panel right over here. This is the physics panel where you can get your physics into the objects. So this is static, which means it's just gonna stay right over there where you ever place it. It's just gonna stay static. This is a rigid body. This is basically it's gonna fall. It's gonna rotate in every direction, fail in every direction, fall in every direction, move in every direction by its own. As you can see, it's just falling. That sounds funny. And this is the collision box. As this is the collision. This is the collision. Like as you can see, there is no line of the object right over here, but there is a gapped line right over here, which is a collision box. Let me practically show you. As you can see, this falls like a box. It doesn't fall round, as you can see. But if you what we can do, but it's in cylinder. We just want to hit the cylinder, right? So we just get the cylinder bounce, and then you can see that it rolls. As you can see, it rolls, and that's really good. That's what we wanted. So, but if you want to get a really accurate physics bounce, then you can just do the triangle mesh. Look it up. See, it falls down because the triangle mesh is a little glitchy. What you want to do, if you want just a little bit more accurate, then you can just use the convex hull, which basically gives a convex, like just winds up this collider. Okay, so but we want the characters to stay up, remain up but not fall. So what we want to do is go over here, rigid body, and then change it to character. And then when we press play, as you can see the character is lying up but still falling down. And you want to get it to actor because this is the main character and this can just interact with any other uh, objects around it. Pretty much it's falling apart, falling down. I don't really mess up with the physics, so I don't really know if how to fix that. So we're gonna just stick with that. Yeah, yeah. See, really much more better. If we want to get accurate, we can either use scripts or just increase the vertices size, but that's gonna increase. That's gonna take a lot of RAM. As you can see, our character is staying still a little bit, and it's more a little much more accurate. But in this case, we use 1.5, 1.0, 1.15, sorry, 0.15, and yeah. So now that we have our just the simple character built with the rigid body and the character um, and has physics, we can just get started with our main camera so that we can just look around and move around. But for that, we need to get it to wireframe. It is not really necessary, but you can just give it to wireframe so that you can work with it inside out too. Let me just rename it. This is the um, rotation transformation detail. I mean the detail of the object that you're holding right now, selected right now. This is the object panel, so you can just get the details of the object here. Remember, each of the options has a specific reason to be there. So this is the place where we can get the display that we are going to get in the rendered. I mean, this is not the rendered, but this is the textured. So this is where we can get our objects to display in which way or whatever. So this is in right now we are getting the textured, but what we want to do is get the wireframe out of this. So among all of these things, this is the one which is wireframed. Cannot see there, but you can see here. And oh, forgot to mention this. If you want to get the texture view, go over here, turn this to texture. There you go. Don't fucking annoy me with that, because that's really noobish. That's really noobish. Like the people in London just might just need a little bit idea before getting started with the game developing. Like we cannot teach you everything, because I myself found all of this out by myself. Yeah, I might have just used a little bit of YouTube, but also got started quite heavily. So next, what you want to do is, if you want to get the camera view, you have to add a camera. So add a camera, you can just either use that spacebar or just add a camera, right, go down and add a camera. And now that, as you can see, that our camera is pretty big, we want to scale it down, press S and then scale, and then go over near there, take it up, and then go and then place it over there. No, but no, we don't want that. As you can see, this is the y-axis right over there. The green line is the y-axis. You can see it over here. Wangle along with that, and you can just move it. Now, what you want to do is press R to rotate, and then select an angle by the middle mouse button, and then I'm going to type 90 so that it gets a view. No, not that side. I want to get a negative side. So this is a negative, minus 90 to get the view to that negative side. And now take a little bit back there, look forward so that this that point right over there remains inside the cylinder. Now what you want to do is select the cylinder along with the camera and then press Ctrl P, and then you can parent it with the object. So that means whenever we move our cylinder, the camera moves along with that. That's really necessary. Now, but if we move a camera, it won't affect the position or the rotation of the cylinder. Just fix this a little bit, and then it's 90. It's 90. It's 150. I'm just fixing the camera. Okay, now that we have got our camera fixed, now up to the character moving part, select both of them together. Go to logic board by going over here and then select logic board. As you can see, the player detail is over here. This is the main part where you can get your logic started. I mean, this is the basic logics that we use to walk around. Like if we want to walk around, we can just move our feet, and we can just give that a command to our brain, and then the brain instantly commands us. I mean, lets our body flow, and then we can walk. This is the exact same thing that works with our character in the logic board. So basically, if we want to get us started, we want to have a sensor, which is the command that we're going to get to the computer, to the player, so that it can go with it. So there's a lot of options right over here. As you can see, this is the message. This sends a message to the inside the player or inside any object that you want to use it. There's a keyboard. So throw the keyboard, I mean throw the virtual keyboard, not the virtual, I mean the practical keyboard in the real life. We can just send the codes from the real life. What do you want to say it? No. But we're going to get a lot of 6 keyboards for getting our WASD commands. Now we're going to name this forward. Through this we can get forward, 22 true, and then backwards. Just name them up. I'm going to just type SS, and then true, left, A, true, right, D, true, run, shift. Don't talk right now. I know you're saying, but dude, you need to have W and shift together. Shut up, I'm going to get to the part. Now go to downwards, that down, and we're going to have the jump. Spacebar over here. Not true. We're not going to enable this true. It's gonna add a problem if we do that. Zoom in. Zoom in a little bit. And now, as we got our logic was zoomed in, it started to lag. Okay. Now what you want to do is go over here, and you can see the motion. The motion in the real world means moving. Okay, if you're illiterate, then you are pretty much don't fuck with this. You cannot get started with this. But if you have a slight knowledge of what is motion, then congrats. So we are also going to name this I'm going to name this for M. That means forward motion, for forward, M for motion. I'm going to go and take this to character motion, and this is the y-axis, so this means we're going to go front with this. So this is the y-axis, and this means we're going to go this way, join it with that, add another motion, 6 more motion, either back, BACKM, negative, left M, So left hand is gonna be x-axis, right? So this is the x-axis, so this is gonna be a negative x, which is this. Oh, remember to give it a character motion. Change character motion, careful to right. And then run and now this is a part where you might just want to change it to static weight and 0.15. It's just a little much more uh, faster when we run, right? So now what you want to do is that you see a line over here, connect it with this. So that means whenever we need to run, we need to press the shift. But again, we also have to press W. So that is the basic character function that we get from the video games, FPS video games. And in this case, we also have done that. Now get the character motion and jump amp, and then you see a button right over here. Just uh, press that jump button, and then go to camera view. From view to camera, zoom in a little bit, press P, and let's see if we can move. W, we are not moving anywhere. Okay, we are moving. We're moving somewhere. Okay, we can run, but we can't go forward. It's W. 0.10. All is okay. So something is wrong, but we can fix it. As we can see that we can move. Yeah, maybe it's a simple motion. Just go to simple motion and then increase whatever you want. 0.10 as the regular. We can see if it works in the simple motion. Yes, in the simple motion it works. I was wrong. You should not change it to character motion. You just have to go to simple motion, negative. I'm sorry for this, but sometimes it gets a little soggy. Uh, I'm really sorry. That. Simple motion. Same numbers, just to simple motion. And the character, this here is gonna remain the same in the jump function. We're not going to do anything. Okay, now as we can see, we can move forward, backwards, left, right, jump, run. As we can run. It's just getting a little bit, but I mean the physics are a little bit soggy. Shaggy, but yeah, we can just go with that. Now we want to rotate our head. So what you want to do is go over here, add an actuator of mouse, go down, change it to look, and then go down there in the camera section, minimize this, go down to camera section, and then add another mouse, go over here, change it to look, and then do that, go over here, and use the FPS, I guess. That's wow. I think we're going to give that, and then is that. Okay, now go to the camera, add a mouse, and then change this to mouse movement. Connect, add an add, connect this with that, this with that, this with that. Don't give it through, because I don't really know if it's gonna do a little harm, if it's going to harm any kind of harm, but let's just see. Yay! We have our basics camera and basics movement done, and we can get our game started. We can play, we can move around, and we have our basic movement started. As you can see, that we have a little bit of shaggy kind of physics, but we can fix that later. But we can just fix it now. We can just add it as subdivide. And as we have subdivided, I'm just gonna scale it down a little bit. The terrain is mainly the reason why it's getting a little bit shaggy. Oh, if we ever get this error, just give you unwrap, you reset, and that is how you do it. Camera, play, and it's getting a little much more better. Then we can move around. As you can see, the movement speed is like it's really unrealistic. Like the movement speed is like you're using Bolt and running around. Like you can cross the whole map in like 3.0 seconds, like that. We're going to change it later, but for now, this is all we are going to do. And thank you for watching. This video might be long, but it does really help you in the building. Thank you for watching, and I guess we're going to see you in the next video. But for now, let me save it. So you have to save it, okay? If you don't save it, you're in a heck of a great problem. Let's go over there. I'm gonna save it again. Self-developed games. Name it to tutorial. I'm going to name it to tutorial. You can name it whatever you want. My first game if you want. Save that, and that you have your first ever character, terrain, and light setup. And you're doing actually better if you have followed all of my techniques, all of my doings that I did in this video. Congratulations, you have just got the basic knowledge done about the character and the terrain and the texture. Thank you for watching, and if we get 5 likes, we are going to do another video. So like, subscribe, peace, and bye.